So now we're going to discuss gravitational potential energy in a bit more detail. And first of all, the definition then, this is the energy due to something being high up, due to its vertical position on a planet. So if you lift an object up, you're giving it gravitational potential energy. Now we can use the equation that we've just derived for work done. If you lift an object up, then the minimum force that you're going to have to apply is the weight, which would be trying to keep it down, trying to pull it down. So if you're moving up at a constant speed, for instance, then the forces would be balanced, so the upward force would have to equal the weight. And also, we usually consider that a vertical distance is called a height. So if we take our work done as force times distance formula, we can replace the force by mg, and we can replace the distance by h. And what we end up with then is the formula for gravitational potential energy, which is mgh. So you could always do these examples by working out the weight, multiplying by the height, using work done as force times distance. But you're given this formula anyway in the formula sheet, so it just does that in one step for you. It's a wee bit easier to use. Now remember G though, you check in the formula in the data sheet, sorry, if you don't know that. Assume it's on Earth unless it specifically mentions another planet, but you could apply this formula to other planets as well. So it's fairly straightforward. The unit potential energy is joule. All forms of energy are scalars as well, so it's a scalar quantity. And if you then let that object release and fall back down, then you will get that energy back. Now notice that in this experiment, the starting point here might be a desk that you were doing in a class, and so you just define the height from that desk. But then you could say, well, I could drop it off the desk, and then you would get the more potential energy released at that point. So basically, the height that's really important is the change in height in any one situation. It's not, you know, if you're doing an experiment in the third floor in the Clavius building, then it doesn't matter that you're 20 metres up above the ground. You would ignore that because the experiment you're doing is only looking at changes within that lab. So the height there really is the change in height that you're interested in. And there are other types of potential energy that we've mentioned, but that's the main one we want to define in this section as well. And we can look at a quick example of that. So an astronaut on the moon lifts an instrument vertical upwards 1.5 metres and the mass is 20 kilograms. And then you can go and look up the data sheet then for the moon, and you see that G is 1.6. Let's say in this software they quite often use G is 10 for Earth, but it should be 9.8. So on the moon we look up G and we substitute into a formula EP equals mgh. We get 48 joules. If you did that again on Earth, the value of G would be 9.8 actually, but you would get just under 300 joules. So a quite dramatic difference, and that's why it's so much easier to lift things on the moon.